So guys, after weeks and weeks of talking and a lot of rumours and opinions going around this so-called takeover, things died down a little bit. People were worrying that it wasn't going to happen. And now it has been announced that it has been completed, but it has been kind of reworded. We did think originally that it was a full-on takeover, but a substantial investment has been confirmed from the FPP group, Sunderland, FPP Sunderland, that's been completed, a deal to invest a substantial sum into SAFC. So what that means, of course, it is originally just a large chunk of investment. It is rumoured to be at least an 8-figure sum. Some people have rumoured for it to be about 10 plus million, just been injected straight into the club, which is, of course, a lot of money for League One. But I think it will be considerably more than that. I'm not going to say why, reasoning and stuff like that behind it, but I think there will be quite a lot of money being injected into the club and in the future as well. But this group, of course, it has been led by Glenn Furman, John Phelan and Robert Platek, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And of course, Michael Dell, who is the big name out of the bunch. He is more of a passive role. He is on board, but he is only there as a passive role. But the shareholding, the current shareholding still does remain the same, with Methvin with 6% of the shares, Stuart Donald with 74% and Juan Sartori with 20%. That all remains exactly the same because as of right now, it is simply investment rather than a takeover of the club. So there is an interview here with Charlie Methvin, which I will read to you before talking about my opinions on everything that is going on right now. So Charlie Methvin did explain, saying, Juan, Stuart and I put a substantial extra chunk of money into the club before this investment a few weeks ago. The deal that we've signed is for FPP Sunderland to invest a very substantial sum into our management of the club. Really, it's to embark on phase 2 of the rebuild of Sunderland, having had a gruelling 18 months stripping everything back to ensure there's no wastage anywhere. It's now time to start building again. We've always been clear that we would require a bit of investment from our very early interviews and podcasts, and we said that it was no good suddenly looking for it when we needed it. So this is all obviously prepping for the future, this investment. That's of course what it is for. But he does go on to say, we needed to be ahead of the game, and the good thing about this is that it will enable us to do the things we know need to be done to take Sunderland to that next level. This is about the medium to long term things that need to be put in place for Sunderland to reach its potential. There's a large scouting network now being put in place by Tony Coton, including substantial numbers of scouts in this country, Scandinavia and elsewhere. There's going to be substantial investment into recruitment into the academy and things that are hopefully going to be able to take the fan experience to the next level in terms of infrastructure, and there'll be an announcement in the near future on what that looks like. Basically, the investment will allow us to run the club in a measured, strategic way. It's easy to underestimate how many clubs outside the Premier League are living hand to mouth and 1 month to the next. It makes it very difficult to plan strategically, whereas this development enables us to plan and do things properly. Our agreement is confidential, and I won't or wouldn't want to speak for the investors on that long-term plan. But obviously, it's a very significant cash injection at any level outside of the Premier League. So for me, it looks like they have given us a large chunk of money to see where we can go with it and what we can do with it. So of course, if this money is spent correctly and not simply, as a lot of people look at football clubs sometimes, they look at it as if it's Football Manager or it's FIFA, and that means we're going to go buy millions, or spend millions upon millions on players. Of course, we do need that recruitment. We do need that in terms of January going out and bringing in players that are going to help us get promoted this season, because that is the ultimate aim, that is the ultimate goal. But of course, as alluded to there, Charlie Methvin, there are other things that do need to take place. The foundation of this club has been sort of upturned, and it has to be rebuilt from the foundations and from the base of the club. The academy at the minute is absolutely terrible in terms of the quality that's in there. We have been awful. We've had the odd couple of players that have come through, but they're losing every game. I think they finished bottom of the league last 3 seasons or whatever it is. I'm not too sure the inside outs of it, but it's pretty poor, the standard of football and the standard of players that are generally coming through that academy, and any decent players are they're getting poached by other teams. So that is one big thing, the academy, of course. And it has mentioned Charlie Methven, sorry, about the matchday experience. What he means regarding that remains to be seen. Hopefully, he will be taking steps to making a matchday more enjoyable and more accessible and what have you. But for me, of course, this money it's a massive, massive positive. And what they do with it, I think, or I believe, will affect their continued business with us in terms of Thurman and Playtech and Delham, etc. So I think if we do get promoted this season and we use this money correctly and in the right way and strategically, as Charlie Methven does say, and we do well with it, then I think they will continue to do business with us, and they may actually want to take over in some way or some fashion. But that is it at the minute, guys. So the investment is complete. It isn't the takeover, that we originally believed it to be, but a significant amount of money has been invested into the club, which is only excellent news because we do need it. And I'm hoping that a large chunk, or at least a portion of that money, will be ploughed into this playing squad in January, and it has to be done correctly this January. There's no waiting around because we have to get promoted, in my opinion, this season. But that is it, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you have enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.